Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be what the narcissist expects but doesn't give. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So there is a very, and I mean very long list of the narcissist's expectations and also for what they don't give of the things that they expect. The beginning of this list will be with time. The narcissist expects or expected you to be at their beck and call whenever they wanted you. It was almost as if you had an invisible leash around your neck or around your ankles, and you had to do what they wanted when they wanted you to do it. And if you didn't do it, you would be manipulated or abused or taken advantage of at a later date or maybe later that evening. If you did do it, you still wouldn't get a, hey, thank you, I appreciate that. That was so kind of you. The narcissist has expectations for other people that can never, and I mean never ever be met. You may have thought when you're in that relationship that, yeah, you were doing a great job and you were committed and devoted and everything was going great. Well, that probably was true until it wasn't. And when it wasn't was when the narcissist began to show you that they were wearing a mask. It began to slip more and more and more. So the time, you were expected to give your time to them. And once the narcissist had placed you in that trauma bond, once they knew that they had their dirty fangs sunken into you, once they knew they had their claws in you, that's when they began to pull back and they began to use you and your time. And you were hoping to get back to the beginning of that relationship, which was the euphoric stage or the love bomb stage, when you were spending a lot of time with them and they appeared to care about you. They appeared to have your best interest at heart. They appeared to like the same things you liked and have the same goals and dreams and aspirations. Well, that all changed on a dime. Once you married them, you had children with them, you relocated, you went into business, you put a roof over their head, or any other commitment that you had to them, or you told them you loved them. Once those things happened, or one of those things happened, that's when the narcissist knew, okay, I don't need to put that much energy into this person any longer. They're caught up in the relationship. They're hooked on me, maybe even in love with me, but they're committed. I can now pull back because this is exactly what these parasites do. As they pulled back, you wanted to be with them more and more and more. And your time was being consumed by them when you were with them and even when you weren't with them. I'll give you some examples. When you were with them and you were in the, you're being devalued, you're in the devaluation stage, or you were in the trauma bond or the narcissistic fog, and they're all interchangeable yet unique to themselves. And yes, I know I'm speaking fast. But when you were in any of those situations or mindsets, you were thinking about the narcissist. You were wondering where they were, who they were with, why they weren't getting back to, why they would read your texts and you would see a blue check mark, but they would not respond, why they were always late, why they would blow up your vacations, your holidays, your birthdays, your special events, your commemorations, and more. Why all of a sudden the rules had changed of the relationship that the two of you had established, meaning you probably both agreed to go visit the in-laws a few times a year and do ABC. Well, they agreed to that, but they knew in the back of their tiny little pea brain that they weren't going to continue that up unless it benefited them, unless they could draw those people into the web and steal something from them. Having said that, your time is the number one thing that the narcissist expected of you but didn't give to you. And you may think that, no, the narcissist that you're considering, they were so busy at their job and they were so, they had so many things going on that they didn't have time to communicate. Well, think again. Was your ex, or was the person you're considering, were they a salesperson? Were they traveling a lot? Were they gone on weekends? Did you see them 24/7 for a regular period of time? Probably not. They were probably, like most of these creatures, on the go, 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 because they couldn't sit still, and they were on their smartphones, plural, more and more and more. And once they knew again that they had you locked down and you weren't going anywhere, well, then they began to pull their time away from you to keep you stuck and trapped, and they would give their time to other sources of supply. And remember, not every source of supply to the narcissist is romantic, quite the opposite. Many of the relationships the narcissist is a part of are small, brief encounters. Example, someone at the coffee shop, or someone in traffic, or someone in a business meeting, or someone with a holiday or birthday celebration that they may attend for their own reasons. Then they have people that they see more frequently. Example, neighbors, or people in the building they live in, or people in the hobby group that they associate with, or people in the fantasy football club, wink, wink. Then they have built-in supply, people that live under the roof with them. And many times these are the people who endure or experience most of the toxicity, because the narcissist is two people. They're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They are one person to the general public, and they're a completely different person inside the four walls of your house. You didn't know that back then, but now you know it, and you're understanding that this is the relationship, A, you need to heal from, B, it's the most life-threatening, debilitating, challenging, taxing relationship from hell that you'll have to escape out of. No, I'm not trying to trigger you or upset you. I'm speaking cold, hard facts, and more wisdom is coming through me each and every moment I create videos, with all of the insight that I've acquired over the years and all of the development that I've processed with all of the one-on-one sessions I've had, and that's not even counting my real-life experience. So having said that, your time is one thing the narcissist expects, but they didn't give to you. Another one is your money. By now you should know, what does the narcissist love more than money? They love your money more than money. And what they do when you're in these relationships, whether it is a sibling, whether it's a whether it's a spouse, an adult child, or whether it's your parent or a friend, whomever, they will blow through your money and they will use your money. And many times the narcissist will claim, again, you didn't know they were a narcissist, but they'll claim that they don't have money, or you make more money than them, or you have it so good, just give me a ride to the airport, or just loan me $200, and you would loan them the money knowing you would never get it back. And then you would ask them, hey, can I get that money back? And then they would disappear, but then in 6 months they would pop up again and ask you for $300, hoping you forgot about the $200 that you loaned them that they knew they would never repay back to you. See, this is how the cycle goes. It goes around in a loop. And the one constant, the one common denominator is the narcissist. It's not you. So going back to, as the thumbnail mentions, the expectations of your money were to be used how they saw fit, which I can give you so many more illustrations, but their own money they were squirreling away, or they were claiming they didn't have money, or they were funneling it back to their parents in different countries, or they were paying for houses with other people that you would never even know about, or they were investing it in crypto or in gold or in properties. You will never know what the narcissist did with their money, but I can assure you one thing, that you were financially abused any way you cut it. And you back then didn't even know what financial abuse was, because you are a kind, loving, stable person. And you were committed in that relationship, and you wanted to give your time and your money to a person who gladly would take it and give you absolutely nothing in return. As a matter of fact, the more you gave, the more they wanted. The more they wanted, the less you had. The less you had, the less they cared. The less they cared, the more they looked for your replacement, which is the new supply. Play that part of the video. Play it over and over and over again. If you take one thing away from this video, you must take that part away. They don't care about people. They care about what people do for them. They care about what opportunities these people provide for them. And they care about people putting a roof over their head or paying their way through life and arm candy and making it look good and having access to special events and beach houses and ski lodges and all that. They don't care about people as people. They look at people as pawns, as puppets, as indentured servants, as people caught up in the trauma bond, as people who are committed in a relationship that they were never committed in. This list goes on and on and on. Now you're getting the wisdom, you're acquiring the tools. My hope is that you've either gone no contact and blocked the person you're considering, or getting ready to do so. If you're still in the narcissistic relationship and you're acquiring the wisdom, you must, and I mean must, listen to these words very carefully. Prepare. Get ready to create, develop, and execute your exit plan when the time is appropriate, because the clock is ticking not only on your relationship with that person, but on your resources, your mindset, your assets, your health, your progress, your growth, your clarity, your future. If you are in a narcissistic relationship, one more minute than you need to be in one, it is 1 minute too long. I've said this in all of the thousands of videos, or many of the thousands of videos I've created over the years. I wish narcissism and poor toxic behavior would be eradicated from the planet. Not the people, but the behaviors, the mentality, the mindset, the me mindset, the take mindset, the way that these people throw people under the bus. I wish it would all disappear, but it's not going to anytime soon, which is why you need to get the wisdom, acquire the tools, maintain your boundaries, learn no, the strongest word in the English language, and that when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. But having said these things, there are other things the narcissist expects but gives you none of or little of. Another one would be the truth. You, most likely, were an open book, probably a people pleaser, an empath, a loving, stable, healthy person who wanted to be in a reciprocal two-way relationship. Well, the person you're considering made it seem like they were similar to you, but they weren't. So they learned all about you. They learned about your past. They learned about your present. They learned about your future. They learned about your relationships with your kids, with your former romantic relationships, with your parents, your siblings, your colleagues, coworkers, with your school classmates. And then what did they do? They put all that information in their tiny little pea brain, and they came back out and used it against you at a later date. Now you may say, no, the narcissist that you're considering, they told you the truth. Not so fast. Why do you think you made it this far in the video? It's because you are craving wisdom. It's because you're craving the answers to the questions that you never got and you never will get from the person you're considering, because that person is a coward, a bully, probably a liar, a cheater, a thief, and way more than that. But they did know what they're doing. So what the narcissist expects is the truth. They expect you to tell them where you were, who you were with, what you were doing, how much money you spent, how much gas you put in the car, what kind of peanut butter you bought, if you cleaned the house, if you cooked, if you walked the dog, if you took the dog to the vet, if you bought the school supplies, what you're having for dinner, and when you're going to wash the car and vacuum, and all of that. That's not even counting you living a life of working a 9-to-5 job. That's not even counting your health, your mindset, and everything. Remember, you had to report back to that person, whether you know it or not. They looked at you as a servant. Yes, tough pill to swallow, but it's real. And they never told you the truth. Think about their former relationships before they met you. They perhaps proclaimed that all of their exes broke it off with them, and these people never loved them, and these people, they weren't committed to the relationship, and they abused the person you're considering. Well, think about this. It's not always it's not what you were told is not always the truth. Anything that the narcissist ever told you, you need to take with a huge grain of salt. You need to take it with a kilo or a pound of salt, because these people will shapeshift. They will change the direction of whatever they said any which way the wind blows, just like these beautiful banana leaves flying around behind me. They will have selective memory. They will gaslight you. They will stonewall you. They will give you the silent treatment. They will fabricate things. They will make things up, and they will claim they never said those things. The narcissist wants to keep people stuck in the past. They want people pining for them, thinking about them, wondering things about them, and they want to bring up the past whenever it's convenient for them. So the truth is another thing the narcissist expects but will never give you. So far we talked about the truth, your money, and we talked about the first thing. Having said those two things, commitment, what about that? Were you committed in the relationship? Of course you were. The narcissist wasn't committed. All they wanted to do was get their dirty fangs sunken into you. And once they were sunken into you, they knew they had you. That's kind of what I touched on in the beginning. Other things include where you spent your time, meaning your hobby groups. Did you utilize your hobbies to the best of your ability when you're in the relationship? You probably didn't. Why? Because the narcissist was too busy consuming your time, and they didn't want you to participate in certain hobbies because that would take away from your energy spending on them and helping them out, and your money, which should be going into them and helping them out. And plus, if you were attending your hobby groups or your hobby organizations, you would have the ability to interact with healthy, stable people. And maybe you would have cracked the code a little bit earlier. The narcissist couldn't have that. That's why what they wanted is they wanted to participate in their own hobbies, because that's what they did. Example, bike riding or skiing or surfing or attending the book club, wink, wink. But you weren't allowed to do any of that because you had to stay home and you had to cook, clean, and do so much more. Remember, there are two sets of rules with these people. One is whatever rule that the narcissist makes up, and that can change minute by minute, day by day, week by week. The other set of rules is for everybody else, and that set was plastered to your forehead, which meant you couldn't do A, B, and C without there being a consequence. You couldn't do X, Y, and Z without there being a consequence. If you made a decision on your own, let's say, example, taking one of the kids to see a movie, and you didn't tell the narcissist, what would happen? There'd be a rage fit. I didn't approve that. Why would you do that? I can't believe that movie's not for them. And you'd be saying, but it's rated G, and it's a Disney movie, and it's the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday, and there's no school because we're on summer break. Why can't they go see that movie? Well, the reason why they couldn't is because they didn't want you creating or building a bond with the child. They didn't want that to happen. See, there are two sets of rules. The narcissist can do whatever they want. You couldn't do anything, which is why this relationship was not sustainable, which is why this relationship was destined or doomed to fail or to fall apart. Now, are you a failure? No, you're not. Am I? Absolutely not. But the narcissist wanted you thinking that. They wanted you thinking that everything was your fault. They were blame shifting you. They were saying that they shouldn't have married you, or that no one likes you, or no one respects you, or everyone's talking about you. What do you think all that is? ABUSE. It's abuse. And that's what the narcissist dishes out. See, the narcissist will abuse anybody that gets close to them. Again, it includes their kids, their spouses, their besties of 20, 30 years, wink, wink. It includes their own family members and people they work with and neighbors and people in communities. Nobody is safe from the wrath of the narcissist. You're learning that now. That's why you have to maintain your boundaries. So the expectations of the narcissist, they expected so much and they gave you so little. Think about the ending of the relationship. It probably ended via discard, meaning you probably were crumbled up like a sheet of paper and thrown away in the freeway. Doesn't mean that's how it ended, but that's how it ended for a lot of us. And when that ended, you weren't supposed to figure out what narcissism was. You weren't supposed to heal. You were not supposed to put yourself back together. You weren't supposed to see behind the mask, and you definitely weren't supposed to go no contact and block them and rise through the ashes like a phoenix and put yourself back together. But that's what I've done, and that's what you've done, or that's what you're doing. You see, the narcissist didn't expect you to do that. What they expected was for you to not exist. They expected for you to stay stuck, to not move, to have your mind stay trapped in the past, blaming yourself, not healing, not getting your health back, your mindset back, your clarity back, your purpose back, and not rebuilding. Because they had done this with so many people before they met you, but they couldn't do it with you because you're here, you're getting your cup full, you're in the community, you're getting the wisdom, and you're understanding that the narcissist had a long list of expectations for you, of which none of those could ever be met properly in the eyes of the narcissist, which is why this part is completely accurate, like everything else I shared in the videos, specifically this one. You could have owned your own country. You could have been the king or queen of the solar system. You could have had your own planetary system, whatever it would be. It would never be enough. Never. You need to remember that. So no matter what you did, it would never be enough for the narcissist. Why? Because their expectations always rise, they always climb, they always move, they shift. If you haven't heard this term before, please look it up. It's called moving goalposts. The narcissist is a master at using moving goalposts, meaning what they say today, example, yeah, we could get married next year, sounds great. Next year comes, well, no, the climate's not good, or the economy's not good, we shouldn't do that. Let's put it off for 2 more years. The 2 more years, they're going through your money, you're putting a roof over their head, they're cheating behind your back, they're squirreling away your money, they're stealing your energy, your time, you're being abused. Now you can't even figure out what's going on. It's 2 years later, and you say, hey, let's get married, it's time. And they're like, I don't think so. I think that let's get the new car first, and then we can start thinking about that. Then you get a new car, and then boom, 6 months later, hey, let's get married. And they're like, no, I don't think so. I think the holidays are coming up, and I think it's best if we take that money for the wedding and we go on a trip around the world for 2 months. Let's just do that, and we'll have some more fun and experiences. Well, they're blowing through your money. They're future faking you. They're stealing your time. The expectations are changing over and over and over again. That's why once you get the wisdom, you need to go no contact with these people. They don't change. They only deteriorate. They do not improve. They get worse over time. Every one of these people, meaning the narcissists, if they reach a certain age, and no, there's not a specific age when this will happen, but they all become whom? That's right, the aging narcissist. And guess who the aging narcissist is? Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. That's right. The aging narcissist is not a pretty sight to see. These are people who are dilapidated. They're falling apart. They're not getting the attention. They're not getting the supply. They're not getting people aren't allowing access to them any longer. This is what happens to each and every one of these people eventually. Eventually, the narcissist finds themselves on a stage performing for an audience of 0. I'll say it again. Eventually, the narcissist finds themselves on a stage performing for 0 people, because nobody's buying tickets to these shows any longer. In the past, they would keep on buying tickets to the shows, specifically pre-internet and pre-smartphone days, because we didn't know any better. Now we are all becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And specifically for those of you in the community, you're not buying a ticket to any more abusive, manipulating techniques any longer. Quite the opposite. You've battened down the hatches, gone no contact, blocked them, deleted them, removed them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. Now you're living your best life. You're living it narcissistic, relationship free, toxicity free, and you're living a clean life headed towards, or if you haven't arrived at the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. But remember, The expectations of the narcissist always mount. They expect so many things from people, and they deliver nothing but toxicity, nothing but abuse, nothing but a trauma bond, and nothing but a relationship that you will need to heal from. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that you're not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I thought it was going to rain today, and it still may in a little while, but it's not raining now, clearly. But this is a beautiful location. I hope that I can enjoy the banana trees for a little bit longer here before the fall fully approaches. In the meantime, understand something. The narcissist had two sets of rules, one for you and one for them. And that you could never figure out what they wanted because they were always changing the rules for you and for them. Number two, the expectations the narcissist placed upon you, what they wanted from you was full transparency, full commitment, and devotion, and they did not want you to trust your instincts, trust your intuition, or pay attention to red flags. They expected you to be the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the sounding board, the servant, the indentured servant, and more. And they did not want you to have a voice, and they did not want you to be heard. They wanted you to do whatever they wanted you to do, and they wanted to punish you for being you. You are not that person any longer. You're breaking free. Your mind is getting clearer and clearer, and you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third, and there is no longer room in your life now or in the future for toxicity at the hands of a narcissist or anybody even close to that. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.